Bronny. Is that all we got to hear about on these media outlets? Thank God for you guys, because we are here for you to spread the word. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, whatever time it is for you right now. Just know that you are locked in on To The Point with the King. You guys know what to do. Find us Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, which is hopefully where you're watching us. And if you are, please help us out. Give us a subscribe, a like, a comment. We're still waiting to do the giveaway. We have more giveaways to come away after. Okay, this is just not even the tip of the iceberg. Okay, and thank you for supporting our amazing guests, especially my man right there, all the way from the East Coast to your home, the coach, Tim Roach. How you doing today, brother?
Voice that greeting. I'm just like that's great. I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Surviving, striving, and living. But coach, okay. The reason why we are here together today is, and there will be multiple people after, but the reason why we are here together is the last 2 years on this platform, on To The Point, you're 2 for 2, bro. When it comes to draft picks, you predicted Christian Koloko at 33. Art, can you pull up that clip?
Christian Koloko is an analytics dream for a team, and could he be there when the Raptors pick at 33? It's possible, but I also could see him going before 33. I could see him going in the late 20s. A team will definitely take a chance on him because it's hard to pass up on someone with his intangibles.
You did predict that the Raptors needed some. you did say that. So now I want to ask you, now that we're going into the 2024 draft, the Raptors currently have a young core surrounded by, like, with Scotty Barnes, right? You got RJ Barrett, you got IQ, you got Grady, right? And now they're looking to go forward within this organization. Can we, before we get into our picks, can we first address what the Raptors would need in this draft, especially since they fell off from 6th to 19th? But go on.
Talent. That's what they need in a vague sense. We don't have enough talent.
As coach to coach, what are you looking for?
So we need some front court help. When Scotty and Pirtle went down, we just were devoid of any front court help, basically. Any rim protection, any rim running, we did not have it. So I think in this draft, I think it should be a priority that you at least come away with one big from this draft. And as we look at Boston and Dallas now in the finals, Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, Al Horford, Porzingis, some of these guys are playing an invaluable role for their teams right now, and how important it is to have athleticism up front, having a lob threat up front, being able to stretch the defense from the three-point land. We're watching Horford and Porzingis do that. We're watching Gafford and Lively kind of, attack the rim, get the screen and roll actions, and just be a lob threat for when they're in those pick and roll situations with their guards. So I really think front court help is needed. But as always, you pick the best talent. But I like to be a little greedy. I like to walk and chew gum at the same time. I want the best talent and the best fit. I don't see why you can't do that, especially in this draft. It's different if you were the top 2 or 3. You go best talent. Where we're at 19 and 31, Try to find the best talent available and hope it aligns with a fit that you need.
Okay. I agree with you 100% on that, because I see the front court for your Toronto Raptors like pretty much lacking, and especially when you take a hit like Scotty and Yak out at the same time, definitely does take its toll, right? But I did see, like, you and I coach to coach, okay? I see the possibility of, and I've been saying this, Gary Trent being expendable. What if there is a small forward available? What would you think about that before we get into our draft predictions?
Yeah, I certainly, if there was a small forward available that kind of fit a need and has upside, I don't see why not. I think it is about pairing the right fits with Scotty, but it's also building a core. Building a core is what matters in this league. It's not just so much an individual player. I believe I said that on one of the last shows I was on as well. Victor Wembanyama obviously is the best player on the Spurs and is going
Oh,
to
the
be
alien.
probably the best player in the league over the next 10 years. But you still have to put a core around him. You had to put pieces around Michael Jordan. You have to put pieces around
Tim
Luka
Duncan.
Doncic, Tim Duncan. So what I'm trying to say is building a core is what's key. It's not just one person. It's finding the pieces around the one person, but it's also you have to have enough talent to also compete in this league. The super team era is kind of done. It's about building a roster that's balanced and pieces that just fit around the best player.
Okay, so now let's get down to the nitty gritty, brother. Okay, I know, ladies and gentlemen, I do not follow college basketball. I do not follow AAU. Shout out to Sean McCaw, Ron Howard, my guys out there. But I am not aware of who the Raptors can possibly get at 19th, but you might know. Let's keep your streak going, because, ladies and gentlemen, 2 years in a row, he's nailed it. Let's go for 3. Let's get a 3-peat.
So if I get 19 to 31, does that mean I'm 4 for 4? I think
Yes.
or I'll be 3 for 4, but if they get one of them, that's okay.
Yes. You'd be like the 80s Lakers.
That's good. So I want to give the audience 3 prospects, and I will for 19 and 31. But the 19 who might be there at 19 might also be there at 31. Who might be at 31 might also be at 19. It's just the way this draft is. The draft is weak, but it's also flat. So
yeah, you said that. You said that a while ago.
Yeah. So the first prospect I'm looking at is Tristan Da Silva, 6'9" forward out of University of Colorado. Okay. So he is an older prospect. He is 23 years old, just turned 23. So I think he'll be 23 for the whole year. I would dub him as the Jaime Jaquez prospect of this draft. Now, Jaime Jaquez was drafted by Miami last year, and we saw how good he was for them. Tristan Da Silva, 6'9", 40% shooter from 3. He's just a responsible player. He just knows how to play. That probably helps that he's 23 years old. And he's a pretty good defender. University of Colorado this year, whenever they played a zone, now you would think you would put your center in the middle of the zone. No. They put him in the middle of the zone. They just felt that he was the best one to kind of be mobile in the middle, communicate in the middle, be able to split the gap if he had to, which doesn't happen too much if you're in the middle unless you have to rotate. But Tristan Da Silva, plain and simple, he might be one of the best value picks in this draft because you have an idea of what you're going to get. You don't have to teach him how to shoot, which this organization tried to do for 3 years in Vision 6-9. He's ready now. He actually is what Vision 6-9 should have looked like, quite frankly, because I think he can guard multiple positions. And it's probably going to be close to 19. So I really hope he's under consideration. He would be for me, for this team as well. And I'll say this, and it might be a bold take.
Take
I
it.
could see him starting next year if they selected him. You put him next to Scotty and RJ, someone who can stretch the floor, someone who can play defense a little bit. Wouldn't shock me in the least if he was starting at the
And
3
control the
next year.
middle?
Not saying so much control the middle. That's different. He just can't play as much zone in the NBA. I just mean being responsible, being a responsible defender, being a good offensive player, and just his skill set complements Scotty and RJ Hurdle quickly. I would not be shocked if he started next year if we selected him.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what's your number 2, brother?
Number 2, Mr. Kel'el Ware out of the University of Indiana. He's mocked right around that space. He is 7'1" in shoes, 230 pounds, and very good athlete. So much so that he is the all-time combine score record holder. That's basically combining all the assessments and measurements that he did at the combine, and they get scored on it.
Say his name again for those in the back.
Kel'el Ware. Now, he was a freshman last year at Oregon, but he transferred to Indiana. Basically, he was called lazy. He had motor issues, and that's where he's kind of a risk, quite frankly, at 19, is you don't want to bring in someone, ideally, who has motor issues. Now, he played for Mike Woodson at Indiana, which gives me some hope, and he's a tough coach. And Kel'el Ware didn't have the best team around him, but he responded fairly well this year. And his upside, his athleticism, his ability to be a lob threat, his ability to shoot the 3, just his overall talent. And I spoke to a guy from No Ceilings, and I said, who would you rather have, Kel'el Ware or Kyle Filipkowski? He said, if just pure talent, I'm going with Kel'el Ware. He offers something different that we don't have. Hurdle can't shoot outside of 3 feet from the basket. Kel'el Ware can do that. He has nice form from 3. He's going to be a lob threat, and he averaged about 2 blocks this year in Indiana. Kel'el Ware, if he's on the board at 19, probably would be my pick for this team. As long as I know that I can bank, there's no motor issues. I don't want to hear that, because you don't want to take someone who's got, he might be playing some games and then other games he could take some games off. This guy, if you draft him, is probably going to be your future center in 2 years.
Okay. You said 2 years.
Yep.
Now, let me ask you about number 3.
Number 3.
Let's go.
So, I like Jarrett McCain from Duke a lot. However, I'm not going to cover him because I don't think he's going to be there. I think he's going to go before the Raptors select at 19. So here's the player.
I was thinking of him going at 12.
Yeah, it's a little. I don't think we're going to get him. So I'm going to say this player instead. Bub Carrington.
Who?
His name is.
Say that for us. Educate us.
Bub Carrington out of the University of Pittsburgh. He's getting a lot of talk lately. He's a 6.
Carrington. Okay.
Bub.
Sounds like something from King of the Hill.
Carlton Carrington's his name, but he goes by Bub. Yeah. But here's what he is: a 6'5" point guard in shoes. He's 6'4" barefoot, which is tall for a point guard, right? He's actually one of the taller point guards. But here's what also is interesting: he's still 18 years old, so he's young, very young. Now, the Raptors might not be too much about bringing in projects or a young project like him, but this guy, shot creation, great form, got decent size. I would be seriously considering him if I'm looking for a point guard in this draft. He is all about shot creation. Do we have many shot creators on this team?
It depends. Scotty, Gary, RJ, IQ,
not really.
But
not really.
But they're not top tier.
Yeah.
Right? They're still young. right?
So Carrington, he's got shot creation right now. And I think he's got a lot of upside in which you could develop, especially if he's in the right system. He's so young. He's not even 19 years old yet. Imagine what he might look like at 21. And that's what I keep going back to.
You can't
So
buy a beer.
he's got a 36.5-inch max vertical, pretty darn good. Wingspan 6'8". For someone who's about 6'4", he's got a 6'8" wingspan. So I think there's some defensive upside. You might have to be patient with him for a couple of years. Although I don't think this group, this front office, is looking to have many projects on their team, he might be one I'd be willing to invest in. He's got a game in which shot creation is just there, and you need it, and we see it in the playoffs. I'm not comparing him to Kyrie, but we see a guy like Kyrie and how he can shot create. Carrington might have that skill set as well. I'm not saying to Kyrie's level, but over time he might develop that. And I think that's what makes him really intriguing. He's not 6 foot. He's about 6'5" in shoes.
So the potential is there. I get what you're
The potential is there. So I gotta go with Bub. I like the name too, Bub. So.
I love it because I'll put up so many King of the Hill memes. Hey, Bub, or Trailer Park Boys memes.
That's my show, man. That's my show. Those are my guys.
Hey, Bub. But okay, if you want to get just my quick little take, like I haven't, like I said, like I alluded to, I don't follow college ball too much, but I like, and I know it's been in the news lately for you Raptors fans, right? But Zach Eddey, let's bring him home, right? And I know he fits the size, and I know he can space. I know he can shoot. I know he can dunk. You said the lobbing, right? He might not be there for that, right? But he is still a presence because when we face it and we look at this young Raptors core, right? What they have going on with Scotty, RQ, IG, Grady, you get somebody in there to replace Kelly and Yak, who are pretty much old, you could say, for the team. And also Boucher, you could say, is old for the team. But I think he would be a really good, proper fit. That's just my take. I don't know. Y'all fight me. Leave it in the comments. But I got to ask you now, when we go to the second round, now that the Raptors have the first pick in the second round, and 2 years ago you scored it with the 33rd pick. So let me give you a little buffer with the 31st pick. What are you seeing the Raptors are looking for? Do you think the player that they draft is maybe possibly a throwaway, a bench player, or a G League player?
I hope it is a player who can contribute now. I don't think it's so wise to take a project on per se, unless they're uber talented. If someone falls that's super talented, then now you would consider it. But the guys that I have at 31, quite frankly, these are guys who would play college basketball, and I think two of them, maybe all three, quite frankly, are ready now to contribute in a rotation.
Okay, let's go. Give me your three.
Okay. For the record, this guy I'm about to say could be there at 19, and if he was selected, I'd be perfectly fine with it. So this guy, Jaylon Tyson, University of Cal, he's a junior. About 6'7" wing.
Okay.
He is just solid. He just knows, once again, how to play basketball. He is good at getting to the hoop. Creation, as I said before, it's so important. Shot creation. Shot 36% from three. And I've seen the no ceilings guys, they have him in the top 20. So he might not even be there at 31, but I want to get back to having just responsible basketball players. I'm a little bit tired of projects. And I would rather take a project in next year's draft in 2025 than this year's draft. So if I can get a guy now who might crack the top 8 of this team or top 9, Jaylon Tyson I would pick him number 31 if he's on the board, even over the next 2 guys, I'm going to say. Because with Tyson, once again, he might be that Jaime Jaquez a little bit of this draft as well. Just knows how to play. He's not going to win MVP. He's just going to be a guy that you can rely and depend on. And at 6'7", that might be Masai's Norm Powell pick, in my opinion.
Masai, hire the coach Tim Roach. Okay, have him in the room with you. Anyway,
Tyson was in for a workout, for the record, so they did have him in for a workout.
Okay.
So the next
Let's
one.
go with number 2.
Next one, Beyond's going to laugh at me over this, but I got to put him there in case Kel'el Ware's off the board. Yves Missi. He's from Cameroon. We've had some good luck with some prospects from Cameroon, Pascal Siakam.
I love that pick. I love that. I've seen some of his stuff. I love it. Go on, please.
Yeah,
please go on.
Yves likely won't be there because the bigs in this draft are limited. There's only 4 or 5 bigs probably going to go in the first round, and he's probably one of them. But so Yves, he's about 7 foot in shoes. Played at Baylor this year. He's a freshman. I don't know how long he's been playing basketball for. I read somewhere that maybe he just started a few years ago, but
he started when he was 18 years old, from what I saw.
Okay.
So he's relatively new.
Yeah. So he's got a 39-inch vertical. For a big guy at 6'10", that's quite a bit. So he averaged about 11 points.
Can I call him to do my roofing?
There you go. He had about 2 blocks per game. He only played 22 minutes, so almost 2 blocks, which is pretty good. Now, he doesn't shoot outside of 5 feet like Pirtle. But the defense, the rim protection, there's no motor issues with him. Not that I can see anyway. He's a great athlete. And what I've seen from Missi is he's got a good first step. So when he catches the ball at the foul line, he's able to take other big guys off the dribble. But he's raw. I want to be clear. Offensively, he probably not the most ideal pick for this team. But if you just want a guy who's going to rim protect and defend and hustle, not a bad selection to have next to Kelly Olynyk on the bench. So if you had him and Olynyk come in off the bench, they're contrasting players, so they would make sense together. And Missi's, he's definitely a lob threat, which we don't have one on this team. I think if he was there at 19 or 31, it wouldn't shock me. But if he's there at 31, I definitely consider him at 31.
Yeah, from what I saw of what I've seen from him, he reminds me of, I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, I might be too old for you guys, but the movie The Air Up There.
I've never seen it, but
you've never seen it? White dude goes to Africa, finds a really tall dude who's never touched a basketball, trains him, and then he gets into the NBA. Anyway, that was in the early 90s. I'm sorry, I'm old. Okay. But go on. I want to hear number 3 now.
Number 3. I know I've been long-winded, but I guess this is my last one. I've gone back and forth with this, who I think will be there. And there's one thing that kind of stood in my mind, what Masai said. He said we're looking for a defensive wing at the end of the year. So I'm going to go with another Kansas Jayhawk. I know we got 2 of them on our team, in Grady Dick and Ochai Agbaji. Yep. But I'm going to go with Kevin McCullough. He was a senior this year, so he's 23 years old. But two-way versatility, he's got it. And I think he was a Big 12, part of the Big 12 defensive team this year. I don't know if he won Defensive Player of the Year in the Big 12, but versatility, two-way players, that is something that is you kind of can see in these NBA finals, a la Derek White, Drew Holiday, Lively to a degree for Dallas. Defensive wings. We don't have many defensive wings, quite frankly, outside of maybe Scotty. Who can defend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So McCullough, he's a defensive wing. He can shoot the 3. He only shot 33% this year, but the numbers went down as the year went along because he was shooting the 3 quite well, actually, till about January, and then he kind of fell off. But Yeah, sorry, he was Big 12 all defense this year. And we were terrible this year defensively. We stunk. Once again, he's 23. You don't have to teach him how to shoot. You don't have to teach him how to cut. You don't have to teach him how to play. He comes in now, he's ready to go. And there's probably even a maturity aspect to him as well. He's played at a pretty good program in Kansas. He won a national championship with Ochai. And I think if you were to get him at 31, it would make sense. But more so, I think they're targeting him just because of what they said. We want a guy, a defensive wing. So I think he's going to be there around 31, and I can see him being that's my third pick for that 31st pick. Okay. Ryan Dunn's another guy, but I worry about the offense. The offense is too raw. I would rather go with McCullough.
Okay, so you dropped 6, but I think both of us can agree that the areas that need to be addressed for the Toronto Raptors in order to succeed with the young core would be a presence down low, right? And quite possibly a defensive wing. I agree with you 100% on all of those points, because when I'm looking at this team, I can clearly see the way it's going. And like I alluded to earlier, yeah, Trent might be gone, Boucher might be gone, Kelly could be gone, Yak could be gone, despite Kelly's contract extension. You got the young guys, a Jibwe, or what's his name?
Ochai, Abaji.
Yeah, Abaji. And you got Liberty, right? You got some of these guys that have the talent for a young team in order to become prosperous later on. Now, coach, I got to stop you here for a second, because there are some other people that would like to make their predictions. Go.
Hey Brian, what's up? How's it going, man? It's been a while. You wanted me to give you a prediction for the Toronto Raptors and who they'll draft. I think with the 19th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Toronto Raptors select Kel'el Ware, a 7-foot center who can shoot a little bit of threes on limited 3-point attempts, but can still hit them. Is pretty mobile for his size and can block shots. A good rim protector. That is my personal favorite player. Let me know what you think of him.
It's beyond the locker room here, giving you my predictions of at least what I think is going to happen at the NBA 2024 draft for the Toronto Raptors. At number 19, I hope they pick Tristan Da Silva from Colorado. He's got a lot of length. He's a multi-task, multi-tool player. He's a competent and very good defender, which we could use on the wing. I think he'd be a great fit that could start or at least play immediately for the Raptors. And at 31, if they have to go with someone, I prefer a big. So I think it's a bit of a swing, but a lot of upside potentially with Tyler Smith, the big from Ignite. He's got a lot of offensive talent. He's going to need a lot of work on the defensive end, but he's someone in this case here that's got the athleticism as well too that our front court definitely needs. We don't have a lot of it right now. We don't have a lot of verticality on our front court. He would help a lot in that sense as well too, as well as his shooting ability. So those are my picks. Tristan Da Silva at 19, Tyler Smith at 31. Enjoy yourselves out there, guys, and let's hope for a good draft for the Raptors. Peace.
Hey guys, Skip here. Long time no talk, but I've got my To The Point t-shirt pulled out of storage. So we're looking forward to this NBA draft. Now, I'm going to be first to say, just like Brian, I don't watch a lot of college ball. I don't really keep up with all the ins and outs of the prospects that are coming out. So I'm going to be looking forward to this with bated breath. I'm sure that the Raptors management has their ear on the pulse much more than I do right now. But listen, I'm hearing a lot of talk about this Eddey kid, just like Brian said. He's projected to be drafted right around 19. I saw him 17 on one board, 21 on another board. I think there's definitely the hometown narrative. There's the feel good side of it. Now that said, I'm not saying I'd be over the moon to see them draft a big like that at 19. I mean, he's 22 years old. He has big numbers, but obviously a ground-bound center. What does that really translate to the NBA, right? You're looking at a guy who probably is a backup center. He's probably a third-string center right off the bat. Maybe gives you a little flexibility to trade a guy like Pirtle for some other prospects, some shooting. But at the same time, I don't know if that's necessarily what you want to focus on in the draft. I would probably, depending on what the Raptors have their eye on, I would be looking more to project players, more to guys who you think might have a chance to break out in 2 or 3 years, rather than the guy in Eddey who kind of looks like more like a high floor, low ceiling type of guy. But that said, I mean, I think it'd be great to see a Canadian in Raptors red. And if that's the guy they think is the best guy at that spot, I'm down for it. And yeah, let's go Raptors.
Okay, thank you to all of you that have made your predictions. I don't know if y'all gonna touch Coach on this one, but let's see. He's sitting right there in the boardroom. Let's see what happens. Coach, before we get out of here, my man, I know this is like Christmas to you, right? And I'm
Pretty much.
I'm definitely gonna call you on the day of the draft, right? And I'll give you your flowers, okay? And you guys should too. Give him his flowers.
Oh,
That
but they don't
Coach
select
King
anyone
Roach.
that I've said. They don't select anyone, then that's all right. I just make sure it's the right pick, whether it's what I think or not. But
Give him his flowers. Let's get that three-peat. Let's get that three-peat, okay? You know what? Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of myself, the coach, the one and only, the coach, Tim Roach, all the way from the East Coast.
and I'll be there draft day.
Okay. And all the other To The Point family members that have said what they got to say, and myself, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, and